Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well this afternoon. It's Hayden here from the Football for Life show. Welcome to the Starting 11 prediction show for Monday night's game against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Doing things a little differently. I haven't done... This is my first time back in my setup in my apartment. As you can see, I haven't taken my Christmas tree down. Yeah. Anyway. This is the prediction show for Monday night's game against Wolves. It feels great to be making content again, really, especially after such a positive win in midweek. I think as we've all experienced over the past few months, the pain of Liverpool losing so frequently, and especially at Anfield, has certainly left me kind of washed out and unwilling to do small amounts of content. But here we go. Let's go with the positivity of it all. Because Leipzig was great, that was an amazing night. So off screen, I have the complete lineup of the squad and a list of all the players that are definitely fit and available for the team, as well as the list of players that are definitely not fit. And and then we'll go in, and then some of the rumors regarding fitness, which we can get into a little bit later. Now, granted, yes. Now, granted, by the time that the football rolls around on Monday, pardon the pun, the entire team could be injured again, and we could be suffering various innocuous knocks to our players. So take everything that I'm saying with a possible grain of salt, depending on how fitness holds up over the next few days. At the end, we can talk about who should sit on the substitutes bench and what changes could be made. Players brought in to the game to either change it or shore up our position if we are winning, if we're in a stable position, things like that. So doing this on a Friday afternoon certainly gives me room to be wrong and make catastrophic prediction errors. But I think it'll be fun to also look back once the game's over and see who and what I got correct and who and what I got wrong, the errors I made. So please feel free to put your thoughts and ideas for your team, tactics in the comments. And please do drop your own predictions for how you would want to pick the team, pick the almost said Tic Tacs, and then I almost said TikToks. The tactics for Monday's game. Leave them in the comment section below. And yeah, just let's move forward. Before we begin, if you are not already haven't already done this, and if you're new to the channel in any way, please let me know what you think of the content. Drop a like on the video, and remember to press that subscribe button so you know when I go live and when I and a friend of mine, Aaron, Arnie, when we post content, when we go live, things like that. Yeah, because that way you'll just be able to see more content from us, and find things that you're really interested in. So the players that are definitely fit are as follows, basically. We finally have two left backs. Tsimikas came back on Wednesday against Leipzig for the last 10 minutes, and he started to look positive. He looked like he could get into the stride of the game, got up to speed a little bit, stretched his legs after not playing for a while. I mean, the poor guy's had an unbelievable start to his Liverpool career. Started off, there was excitement for him to come in as a real suitable backup to Robertson. Robertson is our number one, but he needs a rest every now and again, and Tsimikas was going to be this. Poor guy comes in, he gets injured, he recovers, he gets COVID, recovers from that, and then gets injured again. So, yeah, it's good to finally have him back. Now there's the questions that we'll address later on as to whether he maybe plays at left back if Robertson needs a rest. But if Robertson isn't going to go away for international duty, and I don't know what the situation is with Scottish players, then Tsimikas might come in instead of Robertson. We now finally have 4 centre-backs for 2 centre-backs positions. So as we saw on Wednesday, we saw Kabak partner Nat Phillips. Nathaniel Phillips has been really showing what he's worth and has really surprised me this season. But now we have Davis, so this player that we brought from Preston North End. He's now fit. Now the announcement the other day was that he was fit. Whether we see him play or not is something for debate. And then of course we have Reece Williams, who's done. Bless him. Given the fact that he was only playing for Kidderminster Harriers last season, for him to come in and play Champions League games, Premier League games, it at a level that is so above what we know he can do, has been really encouraging. So now we actually have the ability to move stuff around, right? Like the problem was this season is that we've not had 2 centre backs at any point to just put together, and we've always had to put a midfielder in, and Fab's great, but we miss something if he doesn't play in midfield. So again, let me know what you guys think about how you'd pick the team. I'll get on to my squad later, what I think about the team, what I think about the score, and who I think will be in the 11. But it just gives us more options, doesn't it? So we now have Ozan Kabak, who's fit, Reece Williams, who's fit, Nathaniel Phillips, who's fit, and we have Davis, who is fit as well. And then, of course, we have 2 right backs who are fit. Trent has been getting back into the team. Obviously, he's our starting right back. It'll be good to have his range of passing back. He certainly played well against Leipzig. He's been showing some really improving displays in the last couple of games, I think. Even though we have been quite bad, holistically. In midfield, we finally have 2 or possibly 3 options for the defensive midfield problem. Like I said, having to play a midfielder in defence has kneecapped us hugely, even though Fabinho is really great as a centre-back when he plays. It's very clear, and we saw it in midweek. Fabinho is probably the best defensive midfielder in the world at the moment. And having him in the midfield again in that DM role really did show that he's back to his best, really. He feels much more suited there. And so this is why the importance of having fit centre-backs and fit midfielders is great. Because now we have 2 or 3 options for DM. We can put Fabinho back into that DM, or we could have Milner that plays that role, but that would be, for me anyway, that would be a last sort of option. We could play Thiago there, so now we have a lot more space to move around. And of course, Gini has also played that role, and we'll move on to the conversation about Gini in a few minutes. But as to precisely what options we have there, ultimately we have 7 fit midfielders, which is great now. Yes, and then just to cap it off, really, in the front line we have 6 options. Firmino missed the last 2 games, and is probably off of that. Is unlikely for Monday, unlikely to be fit. or he might be fit, but maybe not match fit. I think Bobby really does need a rest. And I think it's important to acknowledge that whatever decision is made here, it has the next few weeks come into it. So Bobby has missed the last 2 games, fair enough. But he's helped by the fact that even if he doesn't play, he'll be rested because he hasn't got any international duty. Basically, the club have put their foot down and they said, well, we're not sending our players to the other side of the world to play games in a COVID hotspot and then have them come back and have to isolate for 10 days before being able to play. That would kneecap us for the season. That would kneecap them as human beings. It just wasn't going to happen. So it looks like Bobby, regardless, and is the case with all the Brazilians in our team, and Argentinian players as well in the league, those games have all been cancelled. So what we're going to see is that we're going to see Bobby get the better part of 3 weeks rest. If Bobby doesn't play on Monday, he'll get 3 weeks rest. If he does play, maybe even if it's half a game, he'll get 2.5 weeks. And I think that will do him the world of good because I think he's low on confidence. I think he's low on fitness. I think he just needs to get out of the spotlight for a bit. Yes. So on the front line, obviously, there's been a lot of discussion about this. Divock Origi. He's not guaranteed to come in to play in that central role or even on the left. But he set up a goal for Mane in the midweek. In midweek, excellent ball across the area and set him up. So I think he is also an option. We'll move on to my team later, but I don't think he would be my choice to go into the front. I don't think it helps us out. Yes. So on the players that are definitely not fit, and again, like I said, it's entirely possible that I put this video up. You will comment, like, subscribe, whatever, and then we get bizarre news of 4 people getting injured or 2 people getting injured, and it changes everything. But for now, these are the players that we definitely know are not going to play. Obviously, Van Dijk and Gomez and that out. Captain Jordan Henderson. He seems to be out. Most estimates are putting it between 3 and 4 weeks. So he'll be back after the international break. But, doesn't help to not have him there. But it does help because we have more rotational options in midfield and centre-back now. Kelleher didn't travel with the UCL squad and hasn't been pictured at all in training. So we're basically unsure of his ability or his capacity to play on Monday. And again, Alisson is always our first choice. And then outside of that, you have people like Marcelo Pitaluga. But again, we're not really up to speed with many of our young goalkeeping options, like Yaroslav. Oh man, I butchered his name. I'm so sorry. Many of them are too young, not regularly playing, but they are playing. They are training with the main team now at the Shared Access Training Center. So that promises huge amounts of development over the next year or so. So I think there are some major questions going into this game. 3. And I want to get your thoughts in the comments, in the chat. Just go for it. So the first one is, who is your preferred centre-back partnership? Do we stick with Kabak and Phillips or change it again? if we change it again and bring Davies in, for example, and put him next to Kabak, that'll be our 18th different centre-back partnership. I personally think that we should ultimately keep the same squad and keep the same partnership at the back, given the great performance of Phillips and Kabak. Kabak, at least for me, is always the number one starting centre-back. If he's fit, given our current crisis. I don't see how this thought echoes that of Mage from the Redmen. He basically said, I don't know how Davis gets into the team if it isn't for a serious injury, even though he's a left-sided centre-back. And I agree. I think, Kabak has looked really promising when he's played. He's clearly made an impression on Klopp as his to be the number one starting partner. He's got a number of games under his belt, and Davies would be coming in totally raw and off the back of an injury. So, second question: with Thiago, Keita, Milner, and Gini, all able to play in the defensive midfield role, do we bring Fab straight back in after midweek, where he looks exceptional, world class again, or do we rest Gini? And do we rest Gini because he's played the most minutes of anyone in the team this season? I would be inclined to give him a rest. I would say play Fabinho. Well, we'll get onto it, but I think Fab it makes the most sense, and then partner him with, if we had a possible midfield of Keita, Thiago, and Fabinho, that would be filthy. Okay, and then the third one is to do with the front line. So if Bobby is fit, what do we do? Do we put him straight into the team? Straight into that front line? Or do we leave him out? I want to know what your front three is for this game. Because Jota played in the last one, looked really comfortable. It's good to get him game time after an injury. He went through that amazing spell when he first arrived. And I feel like we could keep that going. I think as I've alluded to earlier, I think Bobby needs a rest. And I think it would be interesting to get your thoughts. I wouldn't mind seeing a front line of Jota, Mane, and Salah, if I'm honest. I think, okay, so after that, I want to move on to some key questions that I've been, I want to make some predictions for the game. Normally I do these previews, and they tend to be a little bit rushed, and or maybe my internalized nature feels like they're rushed. And I always put these little predictions in at the end, and I kind of lose a bit of track of them. But these ones I've got written down off screen, so that's why I keep looking over. So the question number one: will Liverpool score in the first half against Wolves? I think of late we haven't been scoring in the first half much. I'd like to see us score in the first half, but I will say no to that. I think we'll score in the second half, which answers number two, and I think we could score a couple. I think Wolves are vulnerable. They're missing apart from Adama Traore and his baby oil, they're really missing attacking options. They've only scored 27 in 27 games, which means that they're only averaging one a game, near about. And they've got Neto, who's always a problem, and I think he'll be our biggest concern on the night alongside Adama. But they're missing, well, first of all, they're missing Jota, but they're also missing Jimenez. And I think that will really kneecap them. And I think after midweek, we will feel quite confident with the amount of chances we were creating and the frequency of the chances being created. How many goals will be scored in the whole game? I think 3 goals will be scored in the game. I think they'll be shared fairly evenly. I think we'll edge it. Mane score? Yes. Salah? Yes. They're the most likely to score. They always are. They're the most consistent, although Mane's looked way off the pace. But maybe his goal midweek will help him get some of that confidence back. Salah is just a scoring machine. Top scorer in the league with 27 goals. Just an unbelievable player, so consistent. Yeah, I think he'll score one. The other one is, will Thiago get an assist? Now, I think if we play that midfield I was talking about, Fab, Keita, and himself, then you could play Thiago in that forward midfield role in a sort of a number 10 if you wanted to play 4-2-3-1, or if you wanted, or you could play 4-3-3 and have Thiago at the point of that midfield and Fab and Keita as the more defensive players. I think he could get one. If we play the same midfield like we did in midweek, where it's Fab here, and then Thiago and I forget who the other. Well, actually, I have it written here. We played a midfield of Wijnaldum, Fab, and Thiago. So I think if you played that, he could also still get an assist. I think Thiago, he's one of those players that he's incredibly talented, but you need to put him in the best team that we have. Like, I don't think because we were moving Fab into defense, we were having to bring Thiago a lot deeper, and he can't necessarily run a game and keep up the physicality and the defensive shielding of that entire inexperienced backline. So I think in a forward position, he will have the free reign creatively to really do some damage. So I think he'll get an assist. I could even see him getting the assist for both goals that I'm hypothetically thinking we could score. Big saves be made. 2. I want to say maybe a 1-on-1 with Neto. Maybe a pile driver from Coutinho or Neves. And then number 9, will Liverpool simply beat Wolves? And at Molineux, and I think we will. And I think that will be what it is. And so I mean I think it'll end 2-1. I think we'll win, and I think we'll score 2 first. So I think we'll be comfortable, and then maybe they'll pull a late one back. So let's get on to the team then, just to wrap up here. And these are just my thoughts. And again, put your own thoughts in the comments. Tweet me, all this stuff. We have a Facebook page for the Football for Life show, so you can contact that page, and post your thoughts about the game and what the lineup might be and all of this. So this is my 11 for the game. Alisson in goal. Trent at right back. Robbo at left back. Centre back pairings. I'm going to keep it the same. Kabak and Phillips. Fabinho in the defensive midfield role. Keita or Curtis Jones in that CM role. And then in the box-to-box role, that more advanced midfield role, Thiago, Alcantara. And then front line, Bobby, if fit. Then in the centre forward role, or that central role. If not, I think Jota will start. I don't see an Origi going on there. On the right, I think it'll be Salah as usual, and then on the left, I think it'll be Mane as usual. And I'm hoping that that entire team, having won in midweek, having been able to create all those chances that we saw against Leipzig, and yes, they played very openly, and yes, the quality of the German league is different to the Prem, but I think that will give them a huge boost to get through to the next round, and to and to consider that team is a team that's challenging Bayern for the title in Germany. I think that was a really big step forward. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me get up. Let me see what people's thoughts are on Twitter. Because of course, right? Like, it's always nice to go onto the toxic part of the internet known as Twitter to see what our options are, or what people think about our squad for Monday. Right. Wow, that's amazing. Apparently, it's been sold out. It's virtually sold out at Molineux. The £20 virtual tickets for those games that Wolves are selling will all go towards the Wolverhampton Wanderers FC Foundation and the Feed the Pack project, tackling food poverty. That's amazing. Okay, I can't seem to get any, find any thoughts on that from people on Twitter. And to be fair, it's probably incredibly unhelpful to get anything from Twitter for things like this. So I just wanted to say thank you all for watching. Do share this video around. It'll be really nice to get a lot of eyes on this. It's basically just a one-man and sometimes two-man operation on our end. We're just two guys basically doing content on our own. I'm doing it from an apartment in London. My friend's doing it in an apartment in Hounslow. So yeah, we're just trying to do our best and put out content when we can. And yeah, we appreciate anyone that watches this and takes the time to leave their thoughts. comment, debate, and discuss things. Yes. So I'll see you all soon. I was going to do this prediction lineup, and then I was going to do a match preview, and they've sort of become one, I guess. So yes, I thank you all for coming, and I'll see you all soon. I'll see you after the game for well, two things. I'll try and do a match watch along on Monday night, but depending on how my day goes, it'll be about my energy levels, and then after the game, I'll jump back on here and we'll do. There's my phone. We will go and do another live broadcast like this, and what we'll do is we'll talk over the game, get our reaction, comment on the result, whichever way it goes, and then I will love to get your comments, thoughts, and have a real discussion in the chat at that time. So if you guys have a wonderful weekend, have a nice Friday afternoon. It'll be great to see you all very, very soon. Peace out, guys. You'll never walk alone.